you've made a mistake. And he said to me, which was very important, he said, Peter, I didn't hear the bell. Yeah. I said, well, now that I believe, because I didn't hear the bell either.
And they stopped the fight after the bell. Yeah. So the bell went, and then they stopped the fight. So, yeah, I think we might just go and appeal it, because this doesn't make any sense, right? No. Like if the bell goes and then stop the fight, then why? You know, it's like, then it's my time to rest.
Can you believe what we saw tonight? What a fight.
I think it is bad stop, and I want to see the rematch in the future.
Do you think it was an early stoppage?
That was an early stoppage. They robbed that f***ing guy.
The referee finally breaks silence on the controversial stoppage in the Rico Verhoeven versus Oleksandr Usyk fight. Peter Fury reveals that the referee admitted making an error, claiming the stoppage came after the bell. Fury explains that the official later told him he did not hear the bell at the moment, leading to the mistake.
I know his first name's Mark. The referee was on the flight with me on the way back. So I spoke to him. I went over, and the best way to sort any dispute is go and ask him the question, isn't it? Yeah. To the person who's done it. I said, you've made a mistake. And he said to me, which was very important, he said, Peter, I didn't hear the bell. Yeah. I said, well, now that I believe, because I didn't hear the bell either. I didn't hear the bell. I thought it was like 2 seconds before, because I'm only going off what people's telling me around the ring. Yeah. More focused on the fight itself, Coogan. But this is what it was. So
the referee has been getting a lot of criticism since the fight, and this might add more fuel to it. Peter Fury has already argued that the stoppage came too early because the bell had already gone before the referee intervened. He believed Rico should have been allowed to return to his corner and use the full minute to recover before any decision about continuing the fight was made.
Well, yeah, I'm hearing reports that the bell had already gone before he waved it off, so he stopped it in Rico's rest time anyway, so that shouldn't happen. I thought the stoppage was premature, to be honest. You know, what can I say? It's done. But when you're fighting for the world title and your man's put such a good performance up and he's in the fight, okay, he gets put down, but he gets back up. And he was missing, and he's firing his shot. He tried to fire back as well. So the bell's gone, and then he decides to stop it. He's on his feet, so he should have been let walk back. He's got a whole minute to gather himself, and that's my job in the corner, to get him back round and tell him what to do in the 12th round. But obviously we didn't get there. But it is just, again, it is what it is.
In an earlier interview, Fury stressed that Rico was still standing, still responding, and still attempting to fight back despite being hurt. Because of that, he viewed the decision as a clear mistake in judgment, especially considering how competitive the fight had been up to that point.
I'm sure Mark Lyson's a nice guy and he does everything properly. We're all human. He's probably just made an error there. But it was definitely a premature stoppage because it was the end of the round. He's got a full minute to recover and he's on his feet. You know, so yes, it's a very poor stoppage, especially when he was in the fight as well.
UFC champion Tom Aspinall also blasted the stoppage, calling it a clear robbery. He accused boxing of protecting certain fighters and preventing anyone else from getting a fair chance to win.
Come on. All right, last 10 seconds. Rico can survive this. Oh, landing a couple. Oh, it's the end of the round, is it? Oh, what? He stopped it? No f***ing way. For a world title fight, he stopped it with about 5 or 6 unanswered shots. What?
That's mad when you think about it, because Usyk and Fury had a similar, it was even worse than that.
Mate, what the f***ing hell's that? What a robbery. What a fix that is. That is f***ing outrageous. Mate, 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was, we were at Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois ringside. Mate, that happened probably 10 times. Sent Fabio Wardley out there, big swollen eye on one side, nose squash, big swelling on his forehead, been dropped 5 times in the fight, send him out again for another round. Stopped it about 3 rounds too late. Rico gets stumbled to his knee. They let him up with 10 seconds left. He lands a few unanswered shots. They don't even let him make it to the end of the round. It's a robbery. What the is that? Boxing don't want anyone else to win. Simple as that. They want the boxers with the amateur style coming in, winning their Olympic medal, and then switching over and being unbeaten pros. That's what they want. They don't like other combat sports. It's bullshit.
Beyond the controversy surrounding the stoppage, discussions have already shifted toward the future of the heavyweight division and the next major title fight. Spencer Brown revealed that a showdown between Agit Kabayel and Oleksandr Usyk is being seriously explored, with support from Turki Alalshek and early plans targeting a large stadium event in Germany for late 2026 if negotiations move forward. Oleksandr Usyk was not at his absolute best during the fight, but still closed the bout with strong momentum. He points out that the stoppage happened after the bell, while also arguing Usyk looked on course to secure a clear late round finish anyway.
Usyk not at his best, picked it up when he had to at the end. And look, the stoppage, yeah, no doubt about it, the bell had rang. But the referee also gave a lot of time to Verhoeven to recover, wasted a lot of time there. And I don't think there's any doubt Usyk would have stopped him the next round. Either way, that's my thoughts.
However, the controversy continues to spark major debate across the boxing world, with fighters, trainers, and analysts all giving different opinions on the decision and the way the fight was stopped. Canelo Alvarez offered a different take on the controversy, arguing that the referee made the right call in stopping the fight to protect Rico Verhoeven from unnecessary damage. While most reactions questioned the decision, he framed it as a justified safety intervention rather than an early stoppage.
Canelo, early stoppage that?
Huh?
Was that an early stoppage?
I don't think so. I think they save a brutal knockout.
Who's next for Usyk?
All the best for Usyk.
Who do you want to see him fight next?
Huh?
Who's next for him?
Oh, he can fight whoever. He's one of the best. Thank you, guys.
Stephen Edwards rejects the idea that Rico Verhoeven was still fully controlling the fight, pointing instead to growing momentum from Oleksandr Usyk in the later rounds. He argues Usyk's pressure and composure were already turning the bout in his favor, with Rico being pushed into increasingly dangerous exchanges as the fight progressed.
All of this stuff about the scorecard should have been tied, that's bullshit. That dude was winning. He got tired, which credit to Usyk. He got tired for a reason, because Usyk's a great fighter, and great fighters come on late in fights. I personally believe that Usyk probably would have stopped him in the 12th round, but it doesn't matter what I believe. The man is fighting his fucking heart out. First time he's going 12 rounds, not with an average fighter, with probably the best fighter in the goddamn world. He deserves a chance to see if he could fight out of trouble. God damn.
Building on that point, Edwards explained that Usyk has always been known for finishing fights strongly, especially once opponents begin to fade under pressure. Because of that, he believed the contest was already entering a decisive stage, and the stoppage may have only sped up what looked like an inevitable ending anyway.
Like if you know anything about boxing, you know if this boy give Usyk some trouble, the referee or somebody gonna pull something shady. Like this, Usyk is a great enough fighter where he could fight his way out of that without no extra help. And the messed up part is, it doesn't just hurt the guy Rico, it hurts Usyk, because now he got to explain to people why he struggled so bad with a guy that's not supposed to be in his league. Now he's gonna have to explain why the referee jumped in with a premature stoppage in a fight that he was losing.
Eddie Hearn saw the situation very differently. While he admitted Rico Verhoeven was still ahead on his scorecards going into round 11, he acknowledged that Usyk hurt him badly in the 10th and immediately sensed the momentum changing. Still, despite recognizing Usyk's surge, Hearn described the referee's intervention as a poor stoppage, especially considering there were only seconds remaining in the round when the fight was waved off.
Eddie, we did not expect that tonight. Just your reaction?
I thought it was incredible. I thought Rico was unbelievable. I mean, it was the rhythm. Usyk just couldn't get to terms with it, and I had Rico up in the fight going into that 11th round, and I felt like Usyk, buzzed him a little bit in the 10th, and actually could have had. I was saying to AJ and everybody else, he's got to stick it on him there. I think he can actually stop him, and he did stop him. I thought it was a poor stoppage. I know that you can never think about how long left in the round, but what was there, a couple of seconds left in the round?
Yeah.
And I think when you're up in the fight, or you're that competitive, you can't stop a fight when he's not taking really any serious punishment.
That criticism carried over into Chris Mannix's reaction as well. Mannix pointed out that although Usyk had been troubled early, he eventually took over the fight and landed a major uppercut that shifted everything. Even so, he questioned the confusion surrounding the timing of the stoppage and noted that punches were still being exchanged when the referee suddenly stepped in.
I think Usyk looked flummoxed at times by the awkward style of Rico Verhoeven. So now you get into the 11th round, and you saw in the 11th, Usyk turned on the jets, went for the stoppage, and got a big knockdown. A short uppercut put Rico down in the corner, and that's when all hell kind of broke loose, where Rico gets up, he has his mouthpiece out, the referee gives him an eternity to go to his corner, get the mouthpiece back in, and get the fight started. If you clocked it, it was more than 10 extra seconds, maybe 15 seconds that Rico had to recover. And it still wasn't recovered. So Usyk pounces on him and starts throwing combinations. The referee was watching that very closely, clearly. The referee stops the fight. Now, he stopped the fight, to my eyes and to my ears, after the bell rang. Usyk was teeing off, he was throwing punches, he had Rico in a tremendous amount of trouble, but he stopped the fight after the bell rang.
Mannix expanded further by arguing that Rico had earned the right to continue, particularly in a heavyweight title fight where momentum can flip instantly with one punch. In his opinion, fighters at that level remain dangerous even after being hurt, which made the quick stoppage even harder to accept.
And given how well Rico was performing up until that point, would have been to allow the fight to continue. Now, if you want to make the argument that Rico would have gotten stopped early in the 12th round, fine, whatever. But 2 heavyweight titles were on the line in that fight. Rico had fought extremely well up until that point. You've got to give the fighter a chance. You've got to give Rico Verhoeven the opportunity to recover in his corner, survive the 12th, and send this fight to a decision. I thought the decision to stop the fight by Mark Lyons was awful. Just awful. The whole sequence there, where he gave Rico extra time, that was bad. The stoppage was awful. Bad stoppage.
The controversy truly exploded once footage of the final sequence began circulating. Commentators Adam Catterall and Gareth A. Davies reacted in disbelief as the referee waved the fight off, only for everyone to realize the bell had already sounded. The round was officially over, yet instead of Rico receiving the usual recovery time in his corner, the fight was ruled a TKO, and the title remained with Usyk. In the end, just a single second separated Verhoeven from reaching the 12th round.
10-8 round 2.
Oh, he stopped it! He stopped it!
Oh.
The bell went for the end of the round.
And he said that... no, has he really...
The bell has gone for the end of the round, but the referee has jumped in and stopped the fight and given it to Oleksandr Usyk.
Oh.
Johnny Nelson shared a similar perspective, feeling the stoppage was unnecessary because Rico was never given enough time to properly recover or even make it back to his corner. To Nelson, the fight still had enough energy and uncertainty left for it to continue into the final round.
But it was very risky at times. Should it have been stopped? In my opinion, no. I think the 10-second clatter went at 2 minutes 50 seconds in. It was announced at 2 minutes 51 seconds the fight was stopped. The referee, I don't think he gave Rico enough chance to at least get to the corner, get to the end of the round and see what he was like when he came out. I think it was well stacked in Usyk's favour because, like everybody else, we expected him to get the job done. So we were more or less looking at Usyk rather than looking at Rico. Rico did an absolutely brilliant job. He should be well proud of himself. Would he again? Usyk will beat him, but it'll be on points. He won't knock this guy out. Because now they both know what to expect.
Ariel Helwani then added another layer to the controversy by suggesting the stoppage may have actually happened after the bell. Even after watching multiple replays, he felt the timing looked off, which only intensified debate around whether the referee reacted too late and made the wrong call under pressure.
Fight is stopped with 1 second left in the 11th round. But in reality, if you actually watch it, and I've watched every single video, every single angle, it was seconds after the 11th round was over. Ding, ding, ding. and then it stopped. And it wasn't like, oh, stopped in between rounds. No. It was stopped maybe because the ref didn't hear it, or maybe because he's incompetent. I don't know. Mark Lyson is his name. It was an absolute awful stoppage.
Helwani also emphasized how close the fight was on the scorecards entering round 11. From his perspective, Rico was still very much alive in the contest, and the knockdown represented a dramatic momentum swing rather than proof that the fight was completely over.
You know, they showed us the scorecards. 2 judges had it tied going into the 11th. Would have been a 10-8 round. 1 judge had Rico up. In the end, he would have gotten robbed by the scorecards. I had him up like 3-4 rounds. He fought a brilliant fight, a beautiful fight against Oleksandr Usyk. He was way more aggressive than he usually is in kickboxing. He looked poised, composed, technical, and who knows, did Usyk take him seriously? I don't know.
On the other side of the debate, Ryan Garcia took a more cautious approach. He admitted the sequence at the end of the round looked chaotic and difficult to judge in real time, especially with the action spilling close to the bell, but he stopped short of fully blaming the referee and instead treated it as a complicated split-second decision.
Do you think Rico should have been allowed to continue?
I believe that the round ended, in my opinion. If I'm telling the truth, I believe the round ended, and you know, I don't know. I don't know why the bell didn't ring. I think it was like 10 seconds left, and then I don't know. But yeah, that's how it goes. The stoppage. It's not my job to say if the ref did a good stoppage, but I thought the round ended.
Sean Zittel offered another balanced opinion, agreeing that the stoppage was far from ideal, while also acknowledging that Usyk appeared to be closing in on a finish, regardless. In his eyes, even if Rico had survived into the final round, the overall result may not have changed dramatically given the momentum Usyk had built late in the fight.
So that's how you know it was over the stoppage. So not a great stoppage, but perhaps Usyk was on his way to finishing him off in the next round. Would have liked to seen Verhoeven get a minute in between rounds, see how he came out in the 12th. He wasn't going to win a decision on the scorecards anyways, but if he had made it through the 12th round, there may have still been a lot of people. Like I said, I could conceivably have that 7 rounds to 3 at the time of the knockdown. He winds up losing the 12th but stays on his feet. That's still a 1-point win on a lot of cards for Verhoeven.
As backlash continued growing online, Hughie Fury took the criticism even further, describing it as one of the worst stoppages he had ever seen. He believed Rico was still capable of continuing and argued that the decision robbed him of a legitimate opportunity to recover, fight back, and potentially change the outcome in the closing moments of the contest.
One of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. He was robbed. What people don't understand as well, he was higher and way up in the scorecards. And Rico has the best recovery system ever. And I seen the thing, he was fully in his senses. He would have went back to the corner, grouped himself, and he would have been perfect for round 12. My dad would have put him in order, and that was it. But they've completely robbed him. He's seen an opportunity because, again, he didn't want to see Rico shock the world. But he has done.
That wraps today's video. As debate continues to grow and opinions remain split across the boxing world, the controversy has moved beyond a single stoppage call. Focus now turns toward a possible rematch and what comes next for Oleksandr Usyk in the heavyweight division, with speculation building around his next big fight. Subscribe for more updates as this story develops.